Hi, partner. Mr. Wiedemer here. Welcome, Mr. Wiedemer's History. Today, I'm going to take you back to a journey back in time, back to the wild, wild west. This is Unit 2, The West. Yeehaw! So, the West. First up, we're going to start off talking about the mining frontier. Now, throughout this course, this unit, we'll talk about the mining frontier, the cattle drives, the farming, and the Indian Wars. But Unit 2.1 will be all about the miners. You guys will be able to explain how mining changed the West in the late 19th century. Now, the growth of the mining industry. Now, as you all know, in 1849, San Francisco, Sutter's Mill, alright, go 49ers, they discovered gold. Alright, and this led to a huge rush of people going out west. And it didn't stop in 1849. Throughout the 1800s, more gold and silver popping up. People were getting rich, or actually going out thinking they'll get rich. The majority of people didn't get rich in the West. So, discovery of gold, silver, and other minerals is going to attract thousands upon thousands of settlers. And the miners basically settled the West. If it wasn't for the miners, the West might not have been settled as quickly. Okay, so miners had the largest influence in the West. Like I said, basically they settled the West. They're the ones who settled the West. Okay, they're the ones that got enough people there so you can create a state. Alright, so what's it like in a mining town? So gold strike in Colorado, 1858, set off a stampede to the region, and everybody went to Denver, Colorado, and to supply up to head out west. So Denver became a thriving boom town. Okay. So the Colorado strike, and then they found gold in them there hills, in the Black Hills of South Dakota. Right? They found copper in Montana, and silver in many, many other places. But the largest was commissioned by Henry Comstock, the Comstock Lode, alright, found in 6 Mile Canyon, Nevada. $300 million in silver ore. That's a lot of silver. $300 million in silver ore. Okay, at 6 Mile Canyon. Henry Comstock was rich. And there's a picture of Comstock Lode, how they got it down there. Gonna mine that silver. Hence Nevada, the silver state. So, once one of the most important mining discoveries, just like I said, it was the quintessential. This was the largest. It is one of the most important. It really, got people to say, hey, there's gold in them there hills. I'm going to go out west and I'm going to get rich. I'm going to get lucky, the lucky strike. So, Nevada, like I said, becomes 36th state because they got like 60,000 people at least out there. They want to protect this. The government wants in on this. And so they make the state of Nevada to reformed around the silver mines. Right, as you see here, here's the West. See in the orange, there's gold here in California, Sutter's Mills, when it was initially discovered in 1849. Alright, Idaho, Montana, Colorado, them there hills in the Black Hills. And in silver, other places as well. So the West was rich in minerals, gold and silver. As you see, the production skyrocketed up, especially for silver. People wanted to get rich. People wanted that lucky strike. It didn't happen too often. So like I said, thousands of miners in one single area, and they became boom towns because overnight there was, boom, it's a town. Just like that. Thousands of miners coming in and trying to get rich. And a town appeared from that. And in these towns, anything and everything you could possibly want. From ladies of the night to saloons to the supply store. Anything you possibly want is there in these towns. So, like I said, businesses of every kind, hotels, saloons, and brothels, and everything was there to serve the miners. And they ask, what happens when the gold kind of runs out of the area? Well, then they become something called a ghost town. Alright? Because, everybody's gone, so it's like ghosts. So, like I said earlier, all miners share just one goal. They want to get lucky. The lucky strike that would bring them wealth. They want to get rich and get rich quick. And they've seen others do it, they're going to do it. And they're going to become rich. The American dream right there. Like I said, ghost towns is what happened when everybody left. Seemingly overnight sometimes. Oh, the gold's gone. What are we going to do? Well, I heard there was gold, 10 miles, 100 miles west of here. Let's pack up and go. And hence a new boomtown started. And just going west, different parts, looking for riches. Like I said, most people going out west did not get rich. And so mining towns, like I said, they had about everything you could ask for. But with that becomes a lot of dangers. Okay, they're dangerous places. And so, a lot of times you get so excited about, a find. I got rich, I'm shucking rich, woo! The next day, you either find your stuff and your gold gone, or find yourself gone. Alright? People, you gotta keep this hush-hush. It's very hard to, look what happened at Sutter's Mill in 1849. It's not going to happen. When there's word of gold, everybody's ears perks up. It's like, ooh, yeah, I want to get rich. Ha. And so, it wasn't good. So, we're going to need law enforcement. And this law enforcement is going to come in the term of vigilance committees. Now, I like to think of vigilance committees as, like Batman. Because Batman's a vigilante. It's someone who takes the law into their own hands. Alright? There's no police, there's no cops, there's government, because these are territories. They're not states, and so it's very hard to get anybody to come to their aid. And so these vigilantes would come and appoint themselves sheriff or deputy or marshal, and they would go and take care of crime to get some sense of law and order in these towns. Alright, so Vigilance Committee, think of Batman, someone who takes the law into their own hands, without the funny suit. So, soon different communities would band together and demand statehood. Remember, the Northwest Ordinance basically shaped out how the United States would grow when a state would become part of the Union. And, you have at least 60,000 people. And so, with the mining brought at least 60,000 people there, many, many more. Alright, so they're going to demand territorial status and statehood. Alright, some areas we got like Pikes Peak, Colorado, Leadville, the Black Hills, Tombstone, Arizona, Deadwood, South Dakota. The very famous places. Here's some states that became states because of mining. As you see, Colorado, Wyoming, Montana, Idaho, North, South Dakota, Nevada, Arizona, and California all became states because of one reason, because of mining. So miners use many different methods, alright, like placer mining, sluice mining, hydraulic mining, quartz mining, different ways to, extract the ore out of the ground. If one didn't work, they use a different, more intrusive method and see if that worked. Alright, so review of mining. Alright, miners settled the West, searched for riches. Most didn't get rich. Mining boom towns popped up out of nowhere, right, wherever precious metal was found. Once the metal was gone, the people left and became a ghost town. Comstock Lode, found by Henry Comstock, was the largest 6-mile canyon in Nevada. Right, many different ways to mine, and many states formed because of mining, got their shapes because of where the gold was. Alright, now on to the Wild Wild West. Look at the Wild Wild West. Alright, so the Wild West, captured the imagination of Americans immediately and still captures today. This is summer with the Lone Ranger. Excellent movie, by the way. Really, it's all about the Wild West. And so we are still fascinated with this West. But really, it's not how it actually was. So these dime novels, yes, they cost a dime, right? And so they told wild, tall tales, mostly of like villains, like Jesse James, Wild Bill Hickok, Billy the Kid. Right, there's Hickok, Billy the Kid, Jesse James. Interesting about Hickok, he was Abilene, Kansas. He was the marshal at town. Had some run-ins, gambling, drinking. Tried his hand in a variety show, didn't work. Ends up in Deadwood, South Dakota. His gambling problem comes back up, haunt him, and well, we have seen the dead man's hand, the aces and eights, right? Because someone shot Wild Bill Hickok, boom, right through the back of the head, and in his hand he was holding 2 aces and 2 eights. Thus, hence the dead man's hand of Wild Bill Hickok. One of the many, many stories of the Wild Wild West. Just most of them are all made up, with hint sliver of truth involved. And we have this Buffalo Bill Cody's Wild West show that was so popular, he went to the Queen. Alright, Queen Victoria even saw this. It went to London, England, performed. Okay, very famous Annie Oakley rose through the sharpshooter, and she was very, very famous in this Wild West show, Buffalo Bill Cody's. And the Wild West period lasted more than 30 years, but people are still fascinated with it today. From the point it started to this very day, people love the Wild West. There's books and movies and everything still made about the Wild West. This is that popular and that famous. And we just love to romanticize about it. The train robbers, the saloons, the cowboys and Indians, all this stuff, just these tall tales passed down from generation to generation. And the romance, like I said, conceals a lot of truth, because the West, well, destroyed a lot of natural resources with mining, many wildlife, particularly the buffalo, and human beings, particularly Native Americans. And so the settling of the West was good for the American dream, but bad for everything else. Bad for the land, bad for the wildlife, bad for the Native Americans. Right? And important thing to take away from the West, significant opportunities for social and economic mobility continues to be a very important part of everyday lives of Americans. We still consider, as part of the American dream, that I have the opportunity to make something of myself. And that's what these people went out west for, to make something of themselves, to get rich. Right? There's the sources right there. We got most of the information, right, from the textbook American Vision and Google and Bing image search for the images. And review of this lesson: miners settled the West. I mean, more than anybody else, the miners influenced the West. Right? The Wild West was romanticized and idealized, making it look, the Wild West that we know today in movies and TV shows. Such as like Little House on the Prairie, Dance with Wolves, get it correct. Others, not so much. Actually, a lot of difference than most stories tell it. Right? Conquest of the West destroyed natural resources, wildlife, and the people, aka the Native Americans who lived there. And today in society, we still hold on to the idea of social and economic mobility, that we can make something of ourselves, the American dream. Alright, so that's it for 2.1, the mining on the frontier. We'll see you next time for 2.2, the cowboys of the frontier. Till next time, study history.